This is number 71. It's already Trishtup, hymn to Agni again. Upaprajinvan ushatih ushantam, patim nanityam janayah sanilach, svasarach shiavim urashim arushim ajushran, chitram uchantim ushasam nagavach. Trishtup has 11 syllables in pada, 4 padas. So the mothers who dwell in one abode, desiring, came to him who desired them and gave him pleasure as to the eternal spouse. The sisters took joy in him as the ray cows in the dawn, when she comes dusky, flashing red, then shining out in rich hues. Shabinda gives such a beautiful translation, which is very difficult to see when you read the original text. My interpretation is more literal, desiring and urging him forward who desires them back, as if the wives their eternal, as if the wives their eternal husband living in the same house. The sisters, like the rays of light, accepted with joy the dark, the ruddy, the luminous and shining dawn. So we will follow Sri Aurobindo's more beautiful and more meaningful, because he gives kind of sequence of the dusky flashing red, then shining out in rich hues, uchanti mushasam nagavach. Yeah, it's quite a mysterious statement. Upajinvan. Jinvati is kind of causing or compelling or making move. There are many meanings here, jinva I put here. Urge on, cause to quick move quickly, impel, incite, animate. So whom or desiring and urging, desiring ushatich, these feminine streams or powers, desiring the desiring one. So he is a desiring whom they desire, and move forward, compel him moving forward, as if the husband, a constant nityam, or Sribindo translates, eternal spouse, the janayach. Janayach is Vedic word from jani, literally generators, but feminine generators, like mothers. That's why he puts the mothers. The mothers are the eternal spouse in the house, living together. Svasarach. And who are these sisters? All these words like Jani, Svasri, Pati, they are coming from the roots, and they have secondary or deeper significances. We don't think about them as something else than just sister. And who is sister actually, and why sister is sister, we do not know. So the word Svasri is unknown etymology, but if you think of it in terms of roots, sister, we have that three because of brother, father, mother. This T is there in Latin, but matri is from ma, to measure and to create the form, to shape. Pitri is from pa, to protect and to fulfill. Yeah? So from here, father, why father, Pitri. Yeah? And then we have a brother from root Bhri, to support and to bear. So you have these meanings. Duhitri, the daughter. Nobody knows why daughter. Daugter is daughter. Because it's from root duh, to milk, actually. It's a milker, literally. Duhitri is because in the Aryan family, the daughter was milking the cows, so she was called milker. So now we call Duhitri daughter, and it means milker, but we don't have that meaning anymore. So all these words, simple words, have deeper significances. And I was thinking about Swasari all my life and never could find the meaningful interpretation, but it is something which moves by herself, Swasri, or uh, who is by herself, who is perfectly herself. And there is a reason for it also. Either it is from root as or root sri, to flow, to move, yeah, Swasri, moving by herself. Because sisters were protected by all, by father, by brother, by all. Yes, they were most protected being ever in the family. For the sister, everybody was fighting. Mother protects her, father protects her, brothers. So everyone was to take care of the sister in the family. And even my father, when he was leaving me already, and I never met him afterwards because he died, he told me, please take care of your sister. So it's quite interesting. Uh, so Swasri, Swasarach, those who move perfectly or those who are most established. I have the whole passage here for Swasri, says Shobindra gives them the occult significance, and here I will read, and so we will think of it more. Shobindra writes, Agni is the priest of the oblation, Brihaspati the priest of the word. In this sense, Agni is said to be born from the heart of man. So it's like flame of aspiration, psychic presence. All the gods are thus born by the sacrifice, grow, and out of their human action assume their divine bodies. Soma, the wine of the world delight, rushing through the mind, which is its luminous, wide extended strainer of purification, cleansed there by the 10 sisters, 10 principles of the mind or consciousness embodied. This is the strainer through which Soma is being distilled and purified in the symbolism of the sacrifice. Pours forth, giving birth to the gods. It's very loaded. The imagery is very loaded. You cannot even comprehend immediately what it means. Yeah. But if we are dwelling on it kind of long enough, we would get the sense who is this Soma, this delight, which is being purified by 10 sisters or distilled by them, cleansed by them, 10 principles. So yeah, we'll read a little more and we will come back to it. The subtle ones seize it in their labor or in the great work, struggle, aspiration, samariye. The 10 brides, they are also called brides. Here they are also brides, sisters in the heaven that has to be crossed, a face that recalls at once the shape of Ashwins that carries us over beyond the thoughts. Isa Shabindu will be speaking also about 10 mental principles. That's why we have 10 fingers, also interestingly. Why 10? Huh? And these 10 fingers, they are symbolically kindling the fire or purifying the soma. So in the kind of in their exoteric interpretation, these are 10 fingers. Yeah? But in the esoteric, they are the 10 principles of the mind, according to Sherwin. For heaven is the symbol of the pure mental consciousness in the Veda, as is earth of the physical consciousness. These sisters who dwell in the pure mind, the subtle ones, Anvi, 10 brides, Dasha Yoshanach. Yoshanach is another word for ladies, for kanyas, are elsewhere called the 10 casters, Dashakshipach, because they seize the soma and speed it on its way. Here we just can only guess what it is, how the whole world comes into embodied state. Yeah? There are principles hidden from us which we do not know, which make this embodiment into the physical of the spiritual possible. And these are the 10 principles, 10 sisters. They are probably identical with the 10 rays, Dasha Gavach, sometimes spoken of in the Veda. They seem to be described as the grandchildren or descendants of the sun, Naptibhich Vivasvatach. So they are coming from the Vivasvat. They are aided in the task of purification by the 7 forms of thought consciousness, Saptadhitayah, 7 flames, 7 thoughts, 7 rivers. Again, we are told that Soma advances heroic with his swift chariots by the force of the subtle thought, Dhiya Anviya, to the perfected activity or perfected field of Indra, of the divine mind, and takes many forms of thought to arrive at that vast extension or formation of the Godhead where the immortals are. So it is even more confusing, yes, after these. Before it was more or less okay. Now it's totally not okay. So, yeah, I want us to know also that whatever we do a very superficial scratch on the text. Yeah, our knowledge of it is very of the beginners, yeah, who are just touching upon the text, because the Shibana somewhere says that he himself only scratched the surface of the Veda. And the Veda goes much deeper into and has much deeper knowledge, which we cannot see now because we are not even ready for this. So they are dealing with the technology of consciousness, which is behind the veil, and how the spiritual being is being embodied through what principles into the physical body. What do we know about Soma, for example? We hardly know anything. Whatever we say, it's a very mental image. But it is the ambrosia, that very delight of existence, the substance from which all the bodies are made, food is made, yeah, which somehow can reproduce itself in time and space and continue in offspring. So what is all this about? You know, if we take the Vedic stand, we will have a totally unexpected perception of things. Yeah? So they are dealing with that substance which makes possible the embodiment of the spirit. And that is the Soma. And Soma has to be redistributed in the mind, vital and physical, because otherwise there will be no embodiment. Yeah. So these 10 principles, they will be doing it. These 10 rays, 10 gavach, the Shagva rishis of 10 rays, are the rishis of 10 levels of consciousness, from the physical to the mental, yeah, 3 times 3 and beyond one more. So these sisters, these 10 fingers, they are doing that work, creating the ladder of, or the ladder of evolution, as it were, redistributing the delight of existence on every of the levels, on all the levels. So, and again, it's only a reflection upon this unknown and beautiful text. And these sisters, they, as I would translate, they accept it with joy, Ajushran. Or Sri Aurobindo would say they took joy in him. Or there is no him here, so I put they accepted with joy this dark, ruddy, many-colored, with many hues, shining dawn like the rays. So they accept all possible hues from the darkest to the most luminous light of the dawn. So the whole range they accept. And this is interesting because exactly these 10 swasiris, 10 sisters, are, if Sri Aurobindo says that they can be identified with 10 gavas, as they are here also mentioned as the gavas, as the rays of light, then these would be perfectly explaining these 10 levels, from physical to the mental and beyond. Yeah? Covering all from the darkest consciousness to the lightest one in the embodied state. You see, one line is telling exactly this. You remember in our presentation, in the introduction, we spoke about these Navagva Rishis, Dashagva Rishis. So what are these 10? Yeah? This is physical, vital, physical, mental, physical, and physical, vital, mental, vital, and then physical, mental, vital, mental, and the beyond, one more. And so here we have these 10 principles. What is interesting that those of you who studied occultism and Kabbalah and Kabbalistic approach, Semitic knowledge, yeah, then in their mysticism, they have 10 Sifirot. Maybe you heard about this. 10 major principles which constitute the tree of life. From the Kether, from the crown, to the embodiment, to the kingdom. Kingdom is embodiment at the bottom. So all major principles, 10 principles, will build up the whole tree of life, the whole structure in which we live, from the highest mental to the lowest physical. So in this case, they are also somehow echoing with the Vedic system. Yes?
Well,
Yes,
Vladimir,
Prashant.
very quick question. Why do they call it the inverted tree of life? If you can just quickly tell me. Because I've often wondered about this.
Inverted? No, it's not inverted. Oh,
It's not inverted?
no, well, in Kabbalah, not. Kabbalah is from the top down. The down
Okay.
is, yeah,
Okay.
the
Fine.
ether, the crown is on the top, and the foundation is at the bottom. Maybe
Okay.
you got, because there's
I
so much
there's
information.
yeah. I got confused. I didn't read it all that well. So
Uh,
thank you.
Yeah, you can just Google the Tree of Life or Sephiroth, and you will have so many different pictures. And they are very interesting because these are the principles which bring from the mind, from the idea of the mind, embodying idea in the reasoning, in the wisdom. There will be in binary foundation. Then it comes to the vital level. It builds the heart of it, the feelings, emotions, feelings, sensations, and then it comes to the physical. So it covers all track of the Soma, let us say Soma, using Vedic language, by these 10 sephirots, 10 sisters, which are bringing him down. And so gladly accepting the Shyavim, the dark one, Arushim, the dark red one, the Chitram, many-colored, Uchantim, shining dawn. So the shining dawn will give us, because the mother covers all the ranges of our embodied state and beyond. That's why the mother is all. When you find her, you find all, as Sri Aurobindo says. Because she unites from the darkest inconscient to the highest superconscient. There is uninterrupted possibility of movement because of the mother. And if she would not be there, this oneness of the world would be impossible. And Ushas is usually her representative. Yes, it's one of her forms.
Vladimir, what did we do to find mother? How come we got her?
Well, it's a task, yes. Sri Aurobindo was dedicated all his life to find her. There are cantos, beautiful cantos, where he finds her actually. He saw the outline of her face, as you remember. Yeah? Such a beautiful passage, very ecstatic passage. And when he saw the beauty on the outline, beyond the veil, he saw the outline of her face, and from the shining beauty of the Divine Mother, he fell unconscious, prone at her feet, in ecstasy of delight. Delight was so intense that he could not bear. So to find the Divine Mother is a great task. Yeah? I do not know what to tell you, but read Savitri, and that is, Savitri is the Divine Mother. And there are many ways to find her aspects here and there. In the lower, she is also the mother of falsehood and of evil, yes. So she is also Aditi and Diti, both, and Prishni in between. This Prishni is actually Chitram. Chitram, many-colored, is that mother which connects this hemisphere lower with the higher hemisphere. And that many-colored range or realm is the realm of the overmind. That's why there are many-colored, hued. Prishni, it's interesting. Did I put it here? No. No, I didn't put. Chitram. Chitram is an interesting word used for this particular, and Prishni also. So there are three mothers: Diti, Prishni, and Aditi. Aditi is transcendental. Prishni is connecting the transcendental to this world. And there is Diti, the consciousness which is dividing. And if all of them is one mother. We may find her as Diti and her elements as Diti. We may find her as Prishni in the overmental and supramental realms. And we may find her as Aditi, as Satchitananda. But if you found really the mother, Shakti, then you found all, because you found transcendental, supramental, and this lower hemisphere world. You found all possibilities. This is a very good news. It's similar to Brahman. Brahman is the spirit which is everywhere. And it's amazing because Brahman, as a spirit, is present in the minutest physical and in the hugest universal and beyond. And it is all over the same Brahman. This was a discovery by the Upanishadic rishis, yeah, in the post-Vedic period. They discovered the spirit which pervades all. Notice they don't speak about the mother anymore in post-Vedic. There is no mother. Huh? So mother as something we have to find or to dedicate, or they speak about Brahman. And this is the mother. This is what I want to say. You forced me to go that far. But you will find, it's really amazing. You will find certain correspondences everywhere about this. Spirit as the mother, and Brahmanaspati, Brihaspati is that Lord of the heart, of the word. Savitri is the word, the divine word. You will find many correspondences of the spirit as the mother. Even in Christian tradition, you have the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Who is the Holy Spirit? Yeah, it is the mother. It is that which connects the Father and the Son, which allows the Son to be born. We don't have the mother in this Trinity, only the Holy Spirit. That spirit is Brahman. That is that zero in which he can manifest. It is his yoni. Yeah. Oh, Sri Krishna says this directly. Samam Brahma is my yoni, into which I cast the seed. This is it. Yeah. We have total proof. Samam Brahma is my yoni, into which I cast Garbha, from which all the creatures come into being. That's what he says in the Gita. So you can find this correspondence. Who is the mother? Find the Brahman, realize the spirit, and you will find the mother. Or find the mother and you will find Brahman.
I have one
My
question.
Sorry. No, my question was very, it was a silly question, Vladimir. I was like, how did we find our mother, like our mother, the picture, like Sri Aurobindo and the mother? How come she came to our life? Like how? I mean, if this is she who's all the three, then how come? How come so easily? I mean, I was just a tourist. I just went to Pondicherry, looked at the flowers. What is it that why there are so many people? Why how if I understand how she came to me, then I can help so many more people come to her or like that. No, I mean, are you getting what I'm saying? See, I'm always application oriented. I'm an actor. I need to act on things.
Don't have to bother about other people. If you found the mother, you will know how to bring her to the other people. It's like Sri Aurobindo, yeah. So you find her more and more. She's an inexhaustible spirit. You cannot find her till the end. Yeah, she will be still beyond the veil. You will see only the outline of her face somewhere in the transcendental. You will never reach the end of the mother. This is Mahashakti. She is the consciousness of force of the divine. How can you exhaust or know her at all? And Sri Aurobindo says nobody knows how she acts. Nobody can fathom her actions. Nobody with the quickest and the most comprehensive consciousness, you cannot follow her even, because she's so complex in her activities. What to say about her as a being? So we are very lucky to have her in our lives, And Sri Aurobindo just declares that she is the Divine Mother. It's not a small thing. It's not a small thing to declare. For Sri Aurobindo, who never lies, never makes any approximation, never exaggerates things. He's so precise in the studies of the spirit that you can envy him. He would never speak approximate about things. Or if he doesn't know, he will immediately tell that I don't know, and I'm speaking, it looks like that. He will always have a reference to it. Even here in the Vedas, he always speaks, it seemed that it is possible that, because he is here cannot be totally, absolutely sure. So how to find the mother? She found us already. I don't know what did we do in the past lives that we deserve this. And how could she actually be embodied in 4 aspects, in 4 Shaktis, Maheshwari, Mahakali, Mahalakshmi, and Mahasaraswati. This is unbelievable. But we feel her presence. We feel her descent from above. We feel the pressure from above. It is real. It's not just a fake story or something. No? And we feel it when we read the Rig Veda, or we sit quietly looking at nature, or meditating. All right, we move. So we leave 10 sisters at this, 10 sephiroths, 10 principles, mental principles, which organize soma on all the levels, embody the divine delight, the divine substance in time and space. Viduchit dridha pitarona ukthai adrim rujan angiraso ravena chakruh divo brihatogatum asme ah suar vividuh ketum usrach. Our fathers, by their words, broke the strong and stubborn places. The Angiras seers shattered the mountain rock with their cry. They made in us a path to the great heaven. They made in us a path to the great heaven. They discovered the day, the sun world, and the intuitive ray and the shining herds. What a vision, yeah? Angira Rishis. In one line, in one verse, you have the whole vision of the Veda, of our forefathers, our rishis of the past, Purva Rishayaha, Angirasa rishis, did for us. So they drilled, or they created the path to heaven in us. So now we have to follow it, to follow the path created by the ancestors. It's already there. And as Sri Aurobindo would say in one of the passages, they are always there to assist us in our journey. The Angirasa Rishis as powers of the higher consciousness, as our forefathers, and they are there, still there, and always. He says, still there and always to assist man in his journey and victory. So this Dridha foundation, stubborn places, Dridhani Viruni, is this the infinite rock, Adri. This Adri is used in the Veda constantly as this infinite rock, which Sri Aurobindo mentions in his own experiences. It is at the bottom of the inconscient. You come to the density which is like a rock, and it has no end. And so he was drilling into that rock, going deeper into the total density of inconscience. And then he broke through, and from there was light coming. And this is the secret of the Veda. The secret is that within that hidden rock, those stubborn, strong places, there is the divine light hiding. And so the Angirasa Rishis with their cry, Ravena, with the Rava, with the roar, and Uktai with their hymns, they broke those strong and stubborn places and fashioned, made the path to heaven within us, and recovered the hidden day, the Svar world, the intuitive ray, Ketu, and Usrach, the luminous herds of the sun. They were all released and went into the embodied state of our consciousness. Basically, this is the symbol of the immortality. Once these stubborn places are broken, then from there the divine consciousness is released, then there is nothing for us to lose or to drop, because our embodied state becomes on the par with the supernal light, supreme light. So it is charged with this light from within. So we don't need to drop it in order to reincarnate in the new body, because this body can maintain itself without decay, without becoming weak, because it has not enough light of consciousness. It will be charged with that light. This is the symbolism of immortality. And from here, I think Sri Aurobindo knows about immortality, physical immortality, from here, from the Veda. And he brings it into his philosophy, and Mother supports it. And this is something which is not easily accepted, which is not accepted at all in any tradition. And this is those who studied Christianity, whatever, yeah, Judaism, even Hinduism, there is no more talking about immortality in that way. Immortality is seen only as the immortality of the soul. You find your soul, you drop your body, this is immortality. But to build the immortal body, nobody dares to even think in that direction. It's a blasphemy in every tradition. But in every, I mean it. Yeah? Only one that was, and Chinese has something very weird, something close to it, but in their own way. I do not know what they mean by that immortality. Some kind of, some miracle. But miracles do not do immortality for humanity. You know the whole story of the mother when she received the mantra of life and death, and she brought it to Sri Aurobindo. And he took that mantra. That mantra had a power. It was left from the Vedic times, from the Vedic rishis for Mother Mira in the occult world. And she took it from that world and brought it to Sri Aurobindo, and he took it and put it somewhere into oblivion. He said, it's not our way. It's not the way we have to proceed, not by miracles, not by, making mantra for someone to stay forever and the others will be the same. We need to progress and to grow in consciousness as a humanity. That's why he was against every religious attitude and religions in general. You know that there was a time when we are coming closer to 24th of November. By the way, we will have darshan. So you are all welcome for this darshan. There will be interesting time for us to see certain things. We prepare the whole program for 24th of November when Sri Aurobindo went into seclusion for the work of the supramental to bring it down. And before that, they had a very intense period in the ashram where the gods were all coming down and disciples could communicate with the gods, because that was the period of the overmental creation, so to say, close to it. So all those godheads came to meditation with the mother, conversed with her and so on. And when she came to Sri Aurobindo and said, look what world we created, such a great world. And Sri Aurobindo says, it's not our way. Yeah, you remember this from we all know it, those who study Sri Aurobindo. It's not our way. Otherwise, they will start worshipping us. We may create the religion, or maybe the greatest religion on earth, but we will lose the opportunity to transform the earthly nature. And then Mother understood everything she said. And she went and she disconnected every sadhak with the Godheads, with all those connections which they had. And the very difficult period started in ashram, working on the physical. And that was the beginning of Sri Aurobindo's seclusion and his work on to bring supramental for the humanity and not to create another religion. Because a religion cannot resolve this puzzle of our immortality in the physical body. Only that. They can resolve other puzzles. They can give us immortality of our soul, but not of our bodies. You see, in this line, there's so much implied. There's breaking through the stubborn and strong places and revealing the herds, the shining herds of the dawn and the sun, that all is connected into one vision. Maybe I'm carried away a bit.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Would you please explain that line, created in us the path to heaven? How does that relate, like you said, immortality in the physical? How does this relate to, how do the physical parts be created? Is it the yoga of the body that Mother talks about in the agenda, literally?
But we have to, in us, within us,
Yes,
we
yes.
have to reach to heaven, and that heaven has to reach to the physical. This is the transformative exercise which we know as sacrifice, the yajna. Yeah? That yajna is constant transformation by the powers of the Godheads of our physical and vital and mental nature. Of course, they cannot do the final transformation. As Sri Aurobindo discovered that later, he thought that the Godheads were from the supramental level, but then later he discovered that all these gods are born on the overmental level, Swar world. He considered Swar to be the supermind, but then later he understood that Swar is the realm of the ray of the sun. And so these gods are very important for us to widen the scope of our psychic presence, yes, and to make it more and more universal, to embrace the whole world. That's all about the, what do you call it, the spiritual transformation, Sri Aurobindo speaks. So the spiritual transformation is the major topic of the Rig Veda. But that prepares the next stage of supramental transformation. Then the supermind can reach out to the, and somewhere Sri Aurobindo speaks about this, he's not sure that the Vedic rishis ever brought the supermind down to earth. Yeah? He knows that their aim was to reach to the supermind, yeah? But to bring it down and to make it, he doesn't know that they succeeded to bring it down. Yeah? Most probably it was because the whole idea of immortality is there. And that immortality comes only from supramental thinking.
Thank you.
But created in us means because we are, on the surface, we are physical, yes? But within, we have a much greater life and realms to live. We are much greater beings than we seem. Yeah? We seem to be very small physical beings, but we have huge bodies or realms to live within, as we know from our course on sleep, conscious sleep. Yeah. Yeah. Now she's looking very intensely, so she wants to. No?
So it is because we are the descendants, the children of our Pitris, from our Pitris, we are getting these genes which are in us to widen the possibilities and the treasures that lie within us of the growth of consciousness towards the light. We
Right.
get those genes or powers from our Pitris,
Right.
is it?
Yes, yes, definitely. Pitriyana is on one side. You're coming again back to Devayana, Pitriyana, genes. Yes, were taken by that topic, and I'm myself. Yesterday we had the whole group from Greenville with all the Indians coming to visit our this, and among them there was one neurosurgeon who was telling us that he was very scientific and never believed in all this, spirituality thing. But now he has changed. He read few books and he tells us how things are, how genetic flexibility or is taking place through the influence of consciousness. Yes. That epigenetics. So the genes are not changing their structure, but they change their behavior first. Yeah. So we don't get extra gene or something, but they open certain, fields, close certain fields in a different way from the influence of consciousness. This is amazing. And you know that even placebo effect is accepted now in the medicine as the medicine. Placebo effect is actually a real thing. It's not something like, happened because, it's not real. You are imagining. No, you are not imagining. It has its effect. It's 50-50, 50 placebo for sure. So it works. You come to the doctor tells you, I'm sure it will work, and gives you sugar, and it will work. You will be cured because you believe that is the cure. So this faith, this belief, and Sri Aurobindo directly says that actually what cures us is this faith, not really the medicine. We believe
Even
that
in
it
the
cures.
even in the energy work, when we are studying and working on all that, there is already there is just so much work happening on how the DNA strands are opening. You know, how at the chromosomal level, how your consciousness, your meditation, your space, your thoughts, everything is actually, the earlier there was just two strands, and now they're more and more and more opening as the consciousness is coming, and the physical entrance of light into the DNA. It's quite a amazing world, actually.
Right. And many things we even don't know, and we will discover them later, that, for example, the influence of one consciousness on my genetic code, suppose I'm sitting here and thinking, is contagious to other human beings. We just didn't yet discover that yet. But in the animal kingdom, we discovered this monkey effect, or rats. One rat was poisoned and the rest are not coming and not touching that food. So we know that it has some kind of, or among trees are communicating, or plants. They had these experiments with plants, amazing. So groups of people going through the room, and one of the persons breaks one plant. And so they register, so all the plants are a little like shock. They get shock. Not only that plant broken, but also other plants in the room. They change their chemical, that's so kind of, they are under stress. So then after some days, the same group, other group is going through, and that person goes through, and the plants are immediately releasing the stress. They know him. They remember the guy. Now, what will you say about karmic consequences? Think about it. Everything is imprinted somewhere and remembered and passed over to other plants. This is the guy which may break the branch. So be aware, be prepared. Mm. It's
Yeah, I'll
funny.
tell you.
Yeah.
One of the things, once I was doing the healing session, and then there's so many plants in our balcony, and one before I was setting up and lighting the lights and all of that, and one plant is like, I want to come in for the session, I want to come in. So I bought the whole pot and I put it in front of mother's altar and I sat down, and then I I don't know.
Yeah, connection.
And it was like, all the fields wanted to support this person for healing his health. And then I asked him, I mean, he's based in some European country and all that. And he said that his parents were farmers and everything, all the whole thing. He told me about the farms and the fields and how they grew and this and that. And I mean, I was like, and I took a picture of the plant and I said, the plant said, I am right now like the symbol of all the fields, the where you grow the crops, and we want to help this man heal. So it was just so fascinating. I'm getting goosebumps just remembering it. So yeah, I mean, yeah, what you saying? Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, it's a living world around us. Everything is connected. Everything is communicating in the subtle worlds, in those worlds of 10 sisters. They arrange the whole communication. Yeah. So we know very little. We are so limited with our physical view on things, but it's okay. It's okay because it does its work. We bring more and more into the physical. That's our purpose. We have to bring more and more spirit into the physical, and that's what we do. That's why we are limited. Otherwise, we will be somewhere else, doing something else, some in the heavens worlds, enjoying ourselves and not doing the work here on the ground.
Sorry, I have a question because you're talking about the plants. Let me turn the video on. So you're talking about the plants. How do you see, say, for example, you're doing a yard work and cleaning up the weeds?
Right.
Just a silly question, but as we were talking about the plants and all that stuff, so how does that thing settle in the karmic, or as you mentioned?
Well, everything eats everything. So what can we do? The world was organized like this. Something similar you can ask about, what about you squash the bug, or,
Yes.
the Scorpio or something. By the way, Mother had a very special attitude towards this. She
Mhm.
was explaining what to kill, what not to kill. You cannot kill everyone because certain bugs and this, they have the purpose, the meaning. They do something meaningful in the creation. So better not to destroy them for no reason.
Mhm.
Though there are several views. And she says about scorpions that they exhausted their evolutionary process and they are not evolving anymore. Interesting. And she says if you kill the Scorpio, it won't be such a big harm for the evolution. And it's quite clear that Scorpio, some people said, I will take Scorpio away from my house. And she says, then it will go to the house of the neighbor and bite there. So what do you prefer? So I think it's a big ethical question. It's not really moral question rather than philosophical. Philosophically, everything eats everything. We are eaten, we eat, so we remove certain plants to get some other plants grow. We clear the way. This is happening all the time, in the history of human societies, wars, everything is taking place, but it does not exhaust the spirit. Notice the spirit comes and even more growing and more occupying. So I was wondering, such great wars we had, and it cleared up the whole atmosphere. Kurukshetra, for example. So why that was necessary? To kill everyone, nearly everyone. And somebody asked Krishna for this, why did you have to do this? And he says that his task was very difficult to change the dharma. And when dharma changes or some new level comes of evolution, these things happen. Yeah, and pralayas happen. So what can we do? Yeah? And then again he starts, again the spirit comes in, and again the journey is building up. So from the ethical point of view, of course, if you are Jain or something, from Jain tradition, going with the broom in front, not to touch any yirumbu or any bug. So you are very careful even to breathe. They put special this to not to breathe some mosquito in or something, some fly. So, but that is an extreme, I don't know what it does. I think it does something to the consciousness of the person to purify himself and to keep in peace with creation, to respect every creature in creation as a divine. It's rather for that purpose than not to kill the bug.
Another question, quick question. We were talking about Mother, we were talking about Adi Shakti. How does it relate to, like in one school of thought, how does it relate to Kundalini Shakti? Is there any relation or not really?
Yeah, there definitely. There are two Kundalinis, yes. There is Kundalini Shakti arising from below, from Muladhara, and there is Maha Kundalini descending from above, Sahasrara. This is what Sri Aurobindo says. And he chooses this method of Kundalini, of Maha Kundalini descending from above. He says it's safer method because it opens the higher chakras first, which are not harmful for the system. Because if you open lower chakras first, you have to have a protection of Guru, and the Kundalini has to open up till the end. And if it doesn't, if it's stuck on the lower levels, opened only lower chakras, then you are in trouble. Because all those forces of lower levels will enter. And I have several examples of my friends who were opening Kundalini from below and got stuck, and they are half mad. They need really, really medical, psychological care, psychic or psychiatric.
Do you mind elaborating a little bit? Opening from below, what does that mean?
No, when Kundalini opens up from Muladhara, opens Muladhara and then Swadhisthana, and then comes to Manipura, and then that's it. Doesn't go up anymore, falls down, but started to open these chakras. So those chakras open to the lower levels of all kind of Bhutas, all kind of yakshas, all kind of creatures will start appearing, you will start hallucinating, and so on and so forth. You will be open to the lower levels of consciousness where nobody wants to be. Yeah? But if it opens from above, then when Sahasrara opens, you open to the higher luminous forces, and they start descending into your system, opening chakra by chakra. And by the way, in Savitri, he has this. Once all the chakras open, and he says this in the letters, once all the chakras are open from above towards the Muladhara, there will be absolutely even unfelt opening of Kundalini from below. So you would not feel it as something separate. Yeah, it will be kind of natural flowing into the system, because once all the chakras are open, that rising of Kundalini would not be like breaking through each chakra with fire, with the heat. And many people feel the heat and fire and sound and light sprinkling and all kinds of effects when the Kundalini opens. We had someone a few days ago, Amrita Desai. Maybe you know Amrita Desai, some of you?
I've heard the name.
Yeah, he has Amrita Yoga. He discovered he has a big following, like, I don't know, 50,000 people follow him in the US, everywhere, wherever he goes. Very old gentleman, 90 years old. He came to us for a few days and he was talking about awakening of Kundalini. And I told him this, that what we believe and we follow the mother from above, the Mahashakti. We call to the mother from the heart and she descends to us. We feel her presence. This is our yoga. Yeah? And he said that it's not so dangerous as I describe. Well, it's not dangerous if you have somebody with you, teacher, who initiates you and protects you in that moment. Then yes, then it is fine. But if you don't, if you're doing it yourself somewhere in the room, I did
Thank,
both. I
thank
did
you.
this and that. So I know both effects anyway, how it is. It's a bit tricky, yes, when it is starting from below. You are really scared. It is not an easy, I don't know why he says it's easy, because he had a teacher who helped him out. That's why.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, we can stop here for today. Only 2 verses, but Angirasa Rishis and the secret of the Veda, the light from below. We will finish next time, I hope. Okay. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Hari Om.